So what we will do today, we will learn about permissions basically. Hey, we have AWS account. Now I own my AWS account. This is my AWS account, but I can do EC2, I can do whatever I want. I can, provision the services, I can change the AMIs, I can add patches, all the stuff. But what else if it is the company's AWS account, right? So I have access, somebody will have access, somebody will have access. Let's say 10 developers in that account, AWS, and 10 DevOps engineers, and 5 testers or product owners, and all those people, how they can manage these services? Anybody can just log in and they can create whatever they want. And who is responsible for cost, and who is responsible for security? Let's say I have created an instance that is up and running, and people are going to uh, access that application for shopping and stuff like that, for example. And somebody logged in and they terminate the instance. And how we can control those permissions basically? Okay, so there are multiple ways that we can do that. Currently, LDAP, you will be given user access based on your role, and you will be given limited permissions using Active Directory, things like that. But in the AWS, there is a service called IAM Role, Identity Access Management. Identity Access Management. Let's take a look what is IAM Role. Okay, and IAM, let me go to IAM dashboard. Okay, so the IAM role is nothing but control the permissions. Okay, how we can control the permissions? By assigning policies. By assigning a policies. Okay, what is policy? And Vishnu, can you tell us what is the difference between a role and a policy? We want to be very clear, and we need to understand. You said the permissions will be controlled using IAM role, and how you can control the permissions using policies. Now we have a question like, what is role and what is policy? So the role is nothing but who you are. It will tell you who you are. That means, are you the developer? Are you a tester? Are you systems administrator? Are you analyst? Are you, based on your project and based on your role? The role will tell you where you belong to in this project. And the policy is nothing but what you can do using that role. Okay. Can a policy attach to a multiple roles? Can a role have a multiple policies? Yes, of course. A role can have a multiple policies. That means you can have a multiple permissions. Okay. And yes, a policy can be attached to a multiple roles as well. Okay, now we can see what I was talking about. So let's create a role for specifically any one of the specific service. You pick the service and we can create the role for that service. Okay. You pick the service. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. So you pick the service and we can create, we can create a policy. And let's go ahead and create a policy, create a role first. Let's do for 1 second. Okay. So Zoom says I cannot minimize screen. Okay, that's fine. So let's create a role with a specific policy. And when I say specific, let's let's give permissions to only EC2. Okay, so that person should not have any access to cloud formation stack. That person should not have any access to other IAM like IAM or S3 bucket or data lifecycle manager or stuff like that. Let's create a role. How we can create a role? Just go to IAM dashboard. Okay, IAM dashboard. From there, from IAM dashboard, in the left side, you will see roles. Okay, or create an IAM user, not role. Actually, create an IAM user. Create a user, add user, and we will add that user to a specific role. And let's see what I was talking about. EC2 permissions only. For example, just a username. I can do programmatic access and I can do username and a password. I can just give custom generated password. That means I can give password. Okay, just okay. So I can required password reset. That's okay. I don't have to reset any password. Now remember, in the Linux, a user belongs to a specific group, right? A user itself is a group. If he is not assigned to any specific group, the user itself is a group, right? Same like that. Each user should be a part of at least one group, basically. So we will attach the permissions to that group. So automatically the user will get same permissions. Whatever the permissions that the group has, the user get the same permissions as well. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give EC2 group, something like that. Okay. And here you see that these are the policies. What policy that this group should have? You're creating a group and this group should have a limited policies, right? Limited permissions. That's what you are telling. And what permissions? I can just do something like EC2 full access. Yeah, something like EC2 full access. Create a group and add that user to that group and just create a user. Okay. When you create a user, you will be given your access credentials, username, password, link, all the stuff in this file, .csv file. Download that file. Okay. Go open that in the next tab. Now, what is the username that I gave? EC2 permissions, right? This is the username and the password. Let me log in as an IAM user.
Permission spelling wrong.
Oh yeah.
SS double S.
Did I give the same? Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Thank you. So now I logged in, right? If you see this console right here on the right corner, okay, this is who you are. If you say project limited permissions, or if you systems admin, or if you DevOps engineer, you will see that kind of stuff. At this account, this account belongs to the owner of that company, basically. So for that, you will have these permissions. This is the AWS account, and this is your permissions. Based on this role, you can do operations inside that AWS. Now I logged in as a IAM user. Let me try to create a one more IAM user. Let me go to IAM dashboard.
Krishna, I have a question here.
Yes.
So, at the time of creation, you choose password, right? Suppose if you didn't choose password at that time,
Uh-huh.
you log in with the new user. What will be the password?
So you automatically, if I don't give any password, there are two ways that you can choose the password. One is custom generated password. That means automatically it will generate a password for you and it will ask you
That
to
is
change the
in
password.
CSV file.
Yeah, in that CSV file,
Mm-hmm.
you will get the details.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Custom generated password file, password actually, and a link and a user details, username and all the stuff. Okay.
Yep, got it.
Did I answer your question, Shailaja?
Yes.
Okay. So now I logged in as a IAM user. Let me go create one more IAM user and let's see what we get there. You see that you do not have a sufficient permissions to see this dashboard because this user has only IA like EC2 permissions. Remember, we only attach one policy. That policy is EC2 policy, EC2 full access policy. So he can do only EC2. He can log in there. He can create an instances. He can terminate an instances. He can add resources to an instance. He can install packages, all that kind of stuff that he can do. But he cannot do any other. He cannot go to database and try to find user details like a user credit card number, user credit card, all the stuff, user SSN number. He cannot do that because he doesn't have permissions to do that. Okay, all he can do just EC2. Let's verify that. We are telling.
So Vishnu, like in this EC2 permissions, we can do cloud formation also or no?
Yes, you can. When you create user, you can do everything. So let me go to cloud formation stack and let me try to create a cloud formation stack and let's see what happens. Let's go to cloud formation.
So, is there any limit for policies, or we can give?
Yeah, you can give as many policies as you want.
Okay.
Yep. So you can create a cloud formation stack, but this cloud formation stack should create only EC2 instance. You cannot create S3 or you cannot create an IAM or you cannot create Lambda. You cannot do other AWS resources basically. You can do only EC2 because the role that you are using, that means the user credentials that you use to log in have access to only EC2. Does that make sense?
Yes, Vishnu.
Okay. So you can create an IAM, you can create a EC2. Let's go and verify whether since, you cannot even list the stacks. You see that? So the no identity based policy allows you to cloud formation list stacks. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You can create a stack, but that should do only EC2. That's fine. Let's go to EC2 and let's see whether this IAM role will allow me to create EC2 or not. I don't have any instances running up and running. Hopefully not this time. Yeah, no instance is up and running. I'm able to see this dashboard. That means I have access. Exactly, I have access. Even you can provide only readable access to your EC2 instance. You can have only readable access basically. So even you can provide like a limited access. You doesn't have to provide all full permissions to EC2 basically. You can limit the permissions as well based on the the policy. Okay, that's what we can do with EC2. Let me try to launch it. I can launch an instance just to see. Okay, let me try this new one. So they are trying to do their sanity on us, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. You see that? So these people, it says no keeper. Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah, I can. I don't want to create one more keeper basically, but that's okay. This is not about the EC2 or keeper. Let me go launch an instance using IAM. I would opt for old. Okay, let's go here. Preview and launch. You know why no keeper found here? Can someone tell me why? I should have a 2 to 3 keepers, right? But now no keeper
We
found.
just created, right? That is
No,
the reason.
no. So remember when I was working, I have 2 to 3 keepers over here, right? April batch 1, baseline key 1.
We can create, I think.
For this user, I think we didn't give the permission to use more other systems.
Exactly. This user doesn't have any keepers at the moment. This is a brand new user just logged in, and this guy doesn't have access to my keepers. You know what I mean? That's exactly the reason. So let's create one. I can do IAM user keeper, and I'll download the keeper, and I'll just launch the instance. So this is in progress. That means this IAM user able to create or terminate or whatever, do that instance because we gave those permissions to that guy. Okay. Any questions regarding IAM?
Can we create multiple IAMs like unlimited, or there is any limit for that?
Yeah, it was 500 users per account.
Okay.
But you can request access more basically. Let me go and Google it. How many IAM users?
Vishnu, I have a question here. So we are logging with this user first time, right?
5,000 basically, not 500 actually. 5,000. You can create up to 5,000 IAM users per account.
Vishnu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So we are using, we are logging with this user for first time, right?
Yes.
So definitely we need to create the pair key, right?
Exactly. That's why. That's what I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So this user just logged in. He doesn't have any key pairs, and he should have a create a key pair. The key pairs that I had earlier, that was admin, right? That was my key pairs, and he doesn't have access to those key pairs. So this user just has been created. So this user should create his own key pairs. That's why we created this iamuser.com using this user. Okay. So you can create up to 5,000 IAM users per account. Okay. Sometimes when you download the files, right? Let's say sometimes your for example, you are using BG like a power electric bills, or you are downloading some bank statements, and you're done all the stuff, right? Sometimes you will see when you download a file, the URL will take you to S3 bucket. Basically, they will have those files in the S3 bucket, and when you click on the download folder, you have access to that specific file because your user account, your username and a password will be added to that specific permissions, like a readable permissions to S3, so that you can download the files from that S3 bucket. That's what it means. Your like your bank account, or your BG account, or your whatever, like a Facebook account and stuff like that. Any questions regarding any? So let's verify. Can we? Let's verify. Let's attach an extra policy this user and try to see if that works. Let me log out from this user and log in back as an admin, because this user doesn't have permissions to add permission, right? So what we can do, let me go back, log in as an admin, sign in as a root user, nothing but admin, right? This is you. Basically, when you're working, this is you. You never ever log in as this user. This is you, basically. So let's go and add an extra policy. We can add IAM full permissions to that existing user. So basically, you will be adding permissions to the group, not user, basically. Okay, and let's see what happens. So one user, right? One group, right? And let's go to that user groups. Now currently easy to user group only, right? Let's go click on that easy to user group. This guy has only EC2 permissions, right? Let's click on that permissions. You see that easy to full access, right? Now go ahead and add policy, attach a policy. What policy we are trying to add? IAM full access, something like that. Okay, IAM full access. Attach this policy. Okay, now this guy has the two permissions, right? Let me go back, sign out. I'll copy this ID, this account ID, because I'm gonna need it. Sign out and log back in as an IAM user. IAM user, 12 digit, right? I just copied. I'm very smart. Okay, now and let me provide my password. So now go to IAM dashboard, and this time we should see that sometimes when you are unable to log into your account and any kind of bank account, or like any of your account, and you will see so okay ma'am, we fixed your issue, and you can go ahead and clear your cache or restart your laptop and try now, ma'am. And what they do, they will add that permission to your account. So that's what they do. Okay, pretty simple and straightforward. Now I'm logged in as this IAM user. This time I can see this IAM as well, because I have added IAM full permissions to this guy. So this guy now able to see this IAM user as well.
So if we add user here, will it
Okay.
reflect in EC2 user as well?
You can add any user as well. It doesn't have
Yeah,
to be
here,
only.
no, suppose if I add user here, okay? If I
Okay.
log in I mean, with the root user, will this user will be reflected in that profile?
Okay. So one step at a time. I logged in here. Okay. Now let's go and add one more user. Then provide the same, get access key, secret key, get password. You see that auto generated password, you will get that in the file, but I'll just provide custom password. Change your password, ma'am, on your first login. Sometimes we might hear something like that, right? This is what it means. Okay. And you can attach this user to the same group. So this user will get the same permissions, or you can create a group and attach based on, let's say if you are a Java developer, right? You doesn't have to have access to EC2 instance, because as a Java developer, you don't create any EC2 instance. You push your code for validation purpose only. You will make sure that, okay, all these files are existing in that server, and you just need readable permissions, and you doesn't have to be easy to full permissions. But if you are a DevOps engineer and you are working on a cloud formation stack for the customer, you should have a full access. Then only you will be able to create, right? Then you will be added to this group, something like that. Does that make sense? Okay, Shailaja, let's go back to your question. What was exactly your question actually?
No, actually, from EC2 permission, I added a new user, okay? I will log out from here, and I will log in with my original email.
Okay, let me log out from here.
Yeah, whatever the user we add here, will it come there? Will it display there?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Log in as the root user. It will display. You will see all users over there. Go back. Go to IAM dashboard. I can see all users for here. You see that? And only root user can delete a user as well. Is that answer your question, Shailaja?
But we created other user, right, in EC2?
No. We did not create a user. We added an extra policy to that user. So you see that? So when we create this user, right? When we create this user, we add this policy, and we did not add this policy. Remember, when I create that user, I have added only this policy, EC2 full access policy. That means he will have access to only EC2 later on. And I just wanted to show you like how this policies works. And I have added an extra policy for this user, that is IAM full access policy. And I logged back in as an IAM user. Next time I can see the IAM dashboard, because this guy has that permissions as well this time. Does that make sense, Shailaja?
Yeah, I got it. So you, for the same user, you are adding IAM access, right? So
Yes.
you logged in with that user, and we are seeing IAM dashboard. Okay. For example, from that profile, if you add a user, okay, and you log out and log in here, so will the users will reflect here?
Yes, they will reflect here.
Okay. Okay, that's the one. Okay.
So Vishnu, I have one question.
Okay.
If from root user we created, assume that we created two IAM users.
Okay. Okay.
So first IAM user, we gave full permissions.
Okay.
For the second, we did not give any permissions. For the first, we gave full permissions for the IAM. So after login into the first IAM user, we can delete the IAM user too, because we already give the permissions.
Yeah, since you have a full permissions, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can delete an IAM user as well, but you
Okay.
cannot delete you cannot delete. So you logged in as a specific IAM user,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot delete that user. Basically, let's go
Okay.
ahead and try that one. Since we are here, let me go ahead and create an IAM user first. Okay, I'll just give only management console. I'll just give only this password. Okay, let's go next permissions. Create a group. Let's provide IAM full access. Create a group and just attach that user to that group. Okay. Now go ahead and log back in as an IAM user. Just log in. And you logged in as an IAM user now. So let's go to IAM dashboard and let's try to delete that user, and you will see what we can see. Go to IAM dashboard. Okay, go to users. Now let's go ahead and delete this user. Okay, you can delete the same user as well. Okay, let's refresh the screen. Unauthorized, because this user doesn't exist basically. Even if I re-authenticate, right? Even if I re-authenticate, let's go. Let's log out and log in back.
I think we cannot log in.
You cannot log in. Yeah, obviously. So it's very rare scenario because it won't happen. Okay, does that make sense, Radhika? Did I answer your question? No.
So I forgot. I mean, I didn't say where you are getting this account ID.
Account ID
Yeah.
on the right side corner. If you go, you will have that in your CSV file as well, but right here. On the right side corner, your profile, you see that this is where you can see account ID.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah.
Any questions regarding IAM? No questions? Okay. So that is the IAM.